It's the Glenn Goss Show, conversations about real estate and life. Be sure to subscribe or follow the show. You never know, the next show might help you in your business or your life. Enjoy the show. Let's talk about some stuff.
Oh, are we already recording?
We are already recording.
There's no theme song. There's no it's the Glenn Show starring me. I'm Glenn.
No.
It's the Glenn Show and I've got lots of great guests.
All of that is pre-recorded and it is not even that good.
Have you ever seen the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie?
Yes.
That's what that's from. That's like that directly, except they call it the Brack Show. It's a crow joke. It's when the plane had just turned green. They're like doing the talking dialogue between all the Air Force people. And then Brack comes walking out and he's like, "It's a Brack Show."
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know how long it's been since I've seen that.
That movie has one of my favorite taglines to it.
What's that?
Every year Hollywood makes thousands of movies. This is one of them.
All right.
And I'm like, that is such a quality line to just really describe the humor that you're going to get with an MST3K film.
Yeah. That's probably pretty close to what this show is right now.
It feels like,
There's literally millions of podcasts now because everybody started doing a podcast, and this is one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna watch The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah,
and let's riff.
All right, let's do it. So I think when I actually start this, I will cut out that beginning part where we were going off about Rancid and different punk things.
We should put that in at the end.
Yeah.
So with very serious real estate. Remember, we bought that guitar lick, that punk guitar lick.
Yes.
We could have that playing, kind of fading in as we're just talking about Rancid and Op Ivy and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will do that as a mix-up in the outtakes for sure.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. So you were talking about music and listening to things. If you get angry about something or whatever, just putting on some sort of music that kind of, I don't know, sets the mood for you or whatever.
Yeah, I've been very musical. I was in bands for, starting when I was about 14, 15. I started playing bass. So I've been to music for a really, really long time, and I've found that it's very cathartic for me to listen to stuff that matches my mood. It helps me process my feelings. I have a lot of feelings. I have very big feelings, as my wife likes to say.
Yeah.
I feel things very big. So I find it's very easy to try to channel that through music. But it has to be kind of in the same sense. So if I'm calm, I got to listen to calm music. If I'm angry, I got to listen to angry music. I can't listen to angry music while I'm calm or calm music while I'm angry because it just won't resonate with me.
I feel the same way. Now I can listen if I'm anxious or whatever. I can't just go listen to whale sounds or something that's gonna piss me off even more or something.
Exactly. I feel you, man.
Even softer music, calming music. I like every genre of music pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm more drawn towards some more than others, but if I'm in something bad happened or I'm just frustrated with something, I'm not going to put on classical music or something.
No.
I mean, I love the hell out of some Beethoven, but I am not listening to Symphony No. 9 if I just had a deal go south or something.
Same. Beethoven's fifth is not going to be playing when I'm waking up angry about, whatever political thing or some work related thing that I lose a listing or you get drop off, you get beat on another offer or something. You're like, you just gotta, you gotta lick your wounds. Well, I gotta lick my wounds music, man. You gotta have something to kind of, figure out a way to sort of, what's the word?
Detract?
Resilient. No,
okay.
For me, it's I have to bounce back. I have to figure out a way to re-channel that energy from my emotion, which is so big and so important to me at the time. I have to figure out a way to re sort of channel it. And I do that by listening to music. I'm very, very musical in that sense. You'll catch me before open houses, back when I did a lot of open houses. I would sit in the car a lot beforehand and kind of channel it, just zone into listen to stuff. Usually it was a lot of hip hop. Hip hop was really my before open house music. Cause it's one, get you feeling like money. Cause hip hop is so self-aggrandizing. And I found that to be way better than self-deprecating is self-aggrandizing. It's the same comedy-wise, it's the same laugh,
sure,
but one of them makes you feel better. So listening to hip-hop before open houses, before showings and stuff gave me hey, that's a little bit of that confidence. listening to Gangstar or something like, I self-lord a master, will bring disaster to evil taxters. You're like, this, I mean, it's just really good. Or, you know, like, I'll be putting in work, son. Like, that's the, get you in the zone. That's, if I have anything to tell anybody, I say, listen to music always. Don't even pay attention to other people. Just listen to music. Don't even do the open houses. Just sit in your car and listen to music.
There you go. Yeah, that's what you need.
That's real estate advice with BJ.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No, I do the same thing, and it depends on the situation too. So, like, yeah, kind of some pump you up, get you going type things. Sometimes even in the morning, if I'm feeling sluggish, if I put on something that's upbeat, fast paced, doesn't even necessarily need to be like positive upbeat, but it just changes my mindset. Sometimes it's something, I guess it sometimes takes me back to a different place. So if I'm playing stuff for high school or when I was younger or whatever, it just, your mind kind of goes there. And then you stop thinking about all the bullshit that's kind of cluttering your mind at the time.
For real.
Same thing when I'm going to bed too. If I had something like a lot on my mind, it could be music or it could be a podcast, but something to just let my brain focus on something else than all the overthinking that I tend to do.
Oh, for real. High school. So is that like old timey? We get the old timey radio, like, I want to set the world on fire.
I'm not quite that old, dude.
I just got you. I know you're
like I'm listening to 90s punk. I got like some Pennywise.
Aren't you like 4 months older than me?
Yeah.
So it makes it. It's great. I love it. So, the Glenn Gosh Show. I feel honored to be on this because you and we did Very Serious Real Estate together. So this is like, I'm so excited to be doing this again with you, to be recording something, to be laughing on reel-to-reel tape, as it were.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being on. It's yeah, I mean, a little bit different format than what we were doing before.
What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, as far as before, we'd sit down for how long?
We scripted stuff out.
And we're going to do this and do that, and we do retakes and...
Oh, man, we had some good stuff. I really enjoyed it. But you have now officially, at 3, have done more than we did.
That's what I found with this. Is I told you, I don't script any of this. I don't have an outline. I don't take notes beforehand or a list of questions or anything. I just sit down. I feel like we have enough interesting people in this office here. I think eventually I'll be interviewing people outside of the office and stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's enough interesting people around our area here that have a story and something to share, and sometimes people can pick up little nuggets out of our conversations that might help them. So that's kind of where it goes. And with this, I have to do no prep other than getting the cameras ready and the sound, which I'm still kind of learning. It just makes it's just raw conversations back and forth.
Yeah, you're going to have, I mean, there's going to be plenty of interesting people. I mean, self-excluded, but there's going to be plenty of other things that you'll be able to chat with. I still think you and I should do like a 20-minute Tuesday thing. Like, let's just tell everybody what our sales meeting was like. Like, maybe what's the hot goss in the office? Ooh, who's dating who? What happened here?
Oh, man. Let's not do that.
Palace intrigue of the Coldwell Banker Tomlinson building.
We can talk, we can definitely talk real estate and put our spin on it.
Very seriously.
People seem to sort of enjoy.
I appreciate it.
Our couples of fans out there.
Our ones of fans. Hey, I am one of those fans. I listened to both earlier podcasts. I listened to the one with Amy and Amy liked, and with Christine Connolly.
Awesome.
And I thought they were great. Oh man, talk about successful people though. Like I can listen to them talk about that success, and it's just you get jealous and you get inspired, and for me it's such, as I said, such big emotions, and I really like to, it helps me to self-formulate how I'm going to approach things next, because I approach things so differently.
Sure.
So I like that. I like hearing how it works for them and how I can sort of blend my concepts and our ideas together.
Yeah, but with that, though, I mean, they are both tremendously successful. Obviously, Amy is, the highest in the state of Washington as far as transaction sides go, and among the top in the country.
Yeah, I believe she's almost intergalactic. Like she will be, or at least interplanetary. She has they've got a new neighborhood going on the moon, I believe.
Yeah, new category just for her.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so we noticed, for those of you watching, We were guessing of how long it was going to take for that to go off. 14 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yeah, I think I lost on that. I think I said it was 15 minutes. So
yeah,
yeah,
idiot. Yeah. What a terrible guess.
But so with that,
yeah, you see how
different levels of success in real estate, though.
For real,
so
absolutely.
It's not all numbers, and the reality is not everybody is going to do 200 to 300 sides per year.
I don't even know how I would do 200 sides a year. How would do 100 sides a year?
Exactly, and I think there's more people out there struggling to get from a few sides a year to somewhere between 15 and 20 sides, or 20 to 30 sides, and there's not many people quitting real estate or wanting to get out of the game because they didn't hit 300 this year.
For real, yeah, that's not.
If people are consistently doing 40 or 50, then that's fine. If people are consistently doing 20, that's also fine. There's no one measure of success, and in real estate, we can kind of get trapped in that always the best. If you go to America's Best, it's always numbers. It's always who brings in the most GCI, whoever sells the most units. Or whoever sells the most volume. Like we look at that as an industry, and then everybody else, it's okay, you're just down here lowly only making X amount of dollars per year or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, real estate has a exceptionally high turnover rate. I mean, just because it's so self-driven and it's hard to maintain that. I know me. I've had plenty of time where I was questioning whether I could even stick around with real estate just because of how up and down it is, how difficult it can be. And, sometimes that, I always said, especially my first couple years, is I would go to bed, I would go to bed unemployed, I would wake up unemployed, I had to rebuild my job every day I woke up.
Yeah.
Like, I had to wake up and think, today I'm going to do my job. I'm going to have a job. And then, and then days you'd wake up and you'd be like, no, I'm not doing anything. And on those days, you realize that on a day you're not working, that's a day you're actively not making money.
Yeah.
And you have to get into that mindset of, I'm going to work. I'm going to take care of this stuff. Whether I have something to do or not, I'm going to figure out something to do. Whether I'm trolling my Facebook Messenger and I'm seeing, did somebody say something fun today? Or whose birthday it is? Is it, let me just give them a quick call or shoot them a quick message and be like, I see somebody's active online. Hey, I just saw that you were doing this and I see you're online. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Like, reminding yourself to do your job and to just go out there, talk to people, whether personally, to have a personal conversation with everybody, whether it's real estate related or not. Just have that time, and then they'll remember you if you keep chatting.
Yes. So you started about 8 years ago, 8 years ago?
6 years ago. I started 6 months before you.
Okay. So I'm coming up on 7 years.
Then I'm at 7 years.
Then you're at 7 years. Yeah.
It's like,
I started in January, and I'll have is it my 7th or 8th? It must be my 7th anniversary coming up.
Yeah. Cause I started in 2015.
Okay.
August 2015. So that'll be 7 years this August.
Okay.
Will be how long I've been doing this. Ever since I got fired from the school district back in 2013. And then I 2013. Then it took me a year to get going with Geeks Who Drink, hosting, kind of getting my groove back, as it were, like Stella.
Yeah.
I got
got his groove back.
You better believe it, baby. That was about 2015 was when or 2014 is when I got my groove back. Then 2015, would be when I started this. So I can actually, I thank getting fired at the school district and Geeks Who Drink for I say getting fired at the school district told me I didn't want to do an office job again. It's just office jobs don't work for you. I had a couple. They never worked for me. And then I can thank Geeks Who Drink for giving me the confidence that I lost in getting fired from my job. And then to come into this, which real estate is the biggest confidence booster for me, just because I can see how much my personality, how much my interaction with my friends and people can really generate not just an income, but a positive influence. Real estate's such a positive selling kind of gig, as it were. So like I like being able to share that with people, and they gave me from this other piece, they gave me the confidence to be able to kind of embrace that.
Sure. So in your first year, were you able to earn a full-time income?
No.
First
year I did when I first started in 2015. There was, at the time, I remember coming in and them saying at the sales meeting that there were 1,200 houses on the market, and that was low.
Yeah.
Like, and then thinking of last summer when there were 72 houses on the market. Like, I've seen it when it was busting a bit. Like 2015, it was on its uptick. And then I've seen it where it is now. But yeah, I think in my first year, I did 10 sides.
Okay.
And that's pretty good. Like, it took me 3 months to get my first buyer and listing. Okay. Like, it took me 3 months to get that first foot in the door. And then I ended up, it was like my in-laws and friends, like some of my close friends gave me my first listing. My first buyer was through a floor call. And I just went out to breakfast with him. Shout out to Ed, man. What's up, bro?
Nice.
Good, really good guy. Works at Costco. Love the guy. We go out to breakfast about once a month. Still. And that's like, I met him on a floor call. His cousin said that I was squirrely and silly, and she didn't think he should work with me. But he's like, no. I see what's up with this guy. We speak the same language.
Yeah. Okay. So your first year, you do approximately 10 sides.
Approximately
which is
10.
Still, I mean,
that's a lot. It was
still
a lot for them.
Really good for a first year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even now with the prices, I mean, 10 sides is a pretty decent.
Dude, 10 sides at let's say $350. So under market value, even going 2.5%. Even if we're going like the lower end of what we could, if we were negotiating ourselves, you're doing 2 sides or something for the people. Whatnot. 10 sides, 6.5 G's each. I mean, you're talking 65K without taking your taxes. Take out your taxes. I don't know what you're doing. Take out 30% of every one of your paychecks. Put it in a separate account. Taxes and retirement.
Or you get to go do your taxes at the end of the year and go, oh.
Yeah.
Crap.
And then they say, hey, you owe $14,000. How much did you save? And you're like, well, I have $14,000. Is that now what I'm going to spend it on? You're like, oh yeah.
Yes.
We're going to do flooring in your house. No. You're paying Uncle Sam.
Yeah. The trick is to not do that flooring before tax season.
For real. Pay your quarterlies. We're already talking some advice. Get an accountant, pay quarterlies, and save money outside of, put that money aside and say, this, I cannot touch this money because it will be due in April.
Yeah. So you mentioned your first year, you had that first buyer come in via a floor call, but you also talked about working with family, friends. What percentage of your business then was family, friends, people you know? What percentage of your business now is family, friends, people you know?
Well, I'm going to say in that first year I did 10 sides. 20% of it were strangers, were people I met. One of them was one of them was like the one, or doing open houses. I think I've picked up 2 buyers in 7 years doing open house. I am terrible at open houses. Like, I'm not terrible at open houses. I'm great if it's my listing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm amazing at it when it's my listing because I know what I'm talking about. I've got the confidence behind it. But I felt when I did open houses for other people, I couldn't channel that same, even doing new construction, I just couldn't channel the same interest, the same rapport.
Energy and...
Yeah, even though I knew, and I would sit down with the listing agent, I'd sit down with Amy or Laura or something and really get the deets on it. And then I just felt like I helped everybody else's agent. Like, I just did everybody else's job. I'm like, yeah, sure, come on in. I'll tell you everything, how this open house, this new construction's going to work. Yeah, feel free. Go work with your Century 21 agent.
Yeah.
It's just like, except for one group. And I'm going to tell you, they turned into one of my biggest nightmares. It's one group I met, and they were my first year. And they were just so difficult to work with. And I ended up getting their listing. And they used somebody else for buying, and I showed them like 60 houses.
Oh,
something.
Fun.
Yeah, and then they did new construction with somebody else.
So you have roughly 20% your first year of strangers, you said. And if you were to go back over the previous year, what does that look like?
Oh, the previous year was, I think it was 60% referrals from people that I had worked with. I had worked with before or had met me, and I had just developed a good relationship with them, and then they send me somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
It's really
And the other 40% people you still know in some facet
yeah,
or
and
whatever.
then I knew them, and then it's like and then a couple people were personal. Like I met them. I mentioned Geeks Who Drink, so that's
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Geeks Who Drink is a pub quiz thing.
Yes.
And you are hosting once a week, or
yes, once a week. I host on Thursday. Shout out at the Emerald of Siam. I've been hosting there since 2015. I have had a regular gig there every Thursday. We took a year off for, I don't know, something happened in the last couple of years, and we took some time off for, I don't remember what it was. Some reason the bars weren't going for a while.
Yeah.
In-person events weren't working, but so my first 2 years, that guided my, that really helped out in my process. Whereas a lot of people will have, they just hustled. And that's what I've always been kind of a hustler. My mom's a hustler. I'm a hustler. Like we find ways to make money.
Yeah.
So I found this. I started doing this Geeks Who Drink, hosting pub quizzes, and you see that I mentioned I started doing that in 2014, 2015 August. I'm doing real estate. So at that point, that's when I started saying, "Hey, at the beginning of all my quizzes, I'm BJ. I am your favorite realtor and quizmaster, and that's for real, not for play."
And that's it. I mean, no big sales pitch, but all those people know you are in real estate, you're a realtor.
Yeah.
And that just starts generating conversations, I'd imagine.
Yeah, to this extent. So I was hosting, here's a great example. I was subbing actually at Moonshot, which is like, I'm going to say it's about 138 steps from our back, from the back door of our
Yeah,
office.
it's a solid business plan is to open up a brewery or bar next to a real estate
Oh,
office.
dude, like that is ancillary businesses, man. That's what does it, dude. Like that absolutely is killer. So I was with that. I happened to be there. I was having a beer and I was subbing for Erin. She was, I believe she was under the weather at the time. And one of my quizzers from Thursday showed up, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" She goes, "My office is just right over here." And I'm like, "Oh, really? What do you do?" She's like, "I'm a civil lit attorney." I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay, that's great." And she goes, "Wait, what do you?" And I'm like, "My office is right there." She's like, "Wait, what do you do?" I'm like, real estate." She's like, "That's right. You say that every time. Hey, do you want to be a go-to realtor for my estate sales when I have probate deals?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." So this is the type of thing, like, you never know who you're going to talk to. You never know when that conversation is going to turn into something right. So, and this gal's amazing. She's actually a really cool person. I really appreciate her. But yeah, then now I'm going to be doing her probate houses and estate sales, and that's
awesome.
that's huge. It's steady flow. It's something that I'm good at. It's something that I know how to price. I know how to do those, and listings are just gold. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be able to do it. I helped my father-in-law. He used to do divorce. So I helped him. I gave him CMAs on some divorce properties and stuff like that. And I have a legal background. So this stuff, going through the legal process is just very normal for me.
So I think a lot of people struggle with talking to friends, family, or even acquaintances that they know, and I don't know why. Maybe it's they're thinking they need to work real estate into the conversation or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't need to be this whole sales pitch or anything. You are simply just telling people you are in real estate and then talking about other things, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
And then just naturally the conversation comes back up again.
Yeah.
People have questions about the market, or they just ask how work's going or whatever. Do you have any different ideas on that?
You're exactly right. One thing I do is every morning I look at the MLS, whether I'm working or not, whether I know I've got stuff to do or not. I look at the MLS and I get an idea how many houses just came on the market today, how many houses are on the market that are active today. Because I'm going to be asked it. I'm going to be tested at some point every day. Someone's going to ask me about the market because I'm just going to be talking to somebody. I'll be wearing a Coldwell Banker, even though this is Coldwell Banker Tomlinson Associated Brokers, which...
Oh, that's old school.
You're damn right. You're damn right. It's old school. By the way, I believe they changed the name to Coldwell Banker Tomlinson instead of Coldwell Associated Brokers, because I used to write on all my PSAs. It said Coldwell Banker Tomlinson ass brokers.
Yeah, AAS period brokers. Yeah, that's
So-
I know Travis loved that.
He loved it, and it was amazing. And I would get comments on it from other agents. They'd be like, "Ass brokers." I'm like, "Yeah, you know it, baby." Slanging.
Yeah, that was a good name change.
It was. It really was. So, can I ask you? So in your versus, you started. I mean, you said January of 2016.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 5 months.
Yeah.
5 months difference. What was your first year?
So much of the same. So
You hosted Geeks Who Drink Pub
well, I mean,
quizzes?
similar principle. Not that I was hosting pub quizzes anywhere, but I was fairly new to town, and I worked at a gym for my first year here. And with that, when I got into real estate, it was the same thing. All these people that I knew, either from the gym, just seeing them there as other people that would work out there, or my personal training clients that were at the gym, I just let them know I'm in real estate now. And inevitably, people would ask, "Hey, what's the market doing, Glenn?" Or, "Hey, like, what do you see right now?" Or whatever the question would be. And then, like you said, I'd look at the MLS every morning and know the data. So someone asked me a question that I could fire right back. "Oh, this is what the market's doing. Oh,
Bam.
Average days on market right now." Or, "Oh, yeah, we're seeing this or we're seeing that." And then people would just naturally say things like, "Gosh, yeah, I mean, we moved into our house 5 years ago. Not quite sure what it's worth." Because at the time, prices were kind of flatlined. People go like, "Yeah, we're thinking about moving. Don't know if we have quite enough equity, though, because we took a refi out on our home or took some cash out or whatever." It's like, "Hey, yeah, well, I could do a quick CMA, a market analysis on your home for you." Be like, "Oh, great." So I would do that for people, and then one of those people will come back, "Hey, you know that market analysis you did on my home? Could you do that for my daughter?" "Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can do that."
I'm sorry, but it's the 1 in 10. Every person is going to have every person will have a real estate question every 10 years. So if you have 10 people, on average, you're going to have one real estate question per year based on those people. So expand that out to 100, expand that as you keep scaling. That's where you just kind of, and people would learn that, and you help these spider webs sort of grow out of your first. Here, to mix metaphors, you plant the seed and then it becomes a spider web.
Yeah.
And it webs out like a classic plant.
Yeah. And I do a similar thing like you were saying too, not with every client, but some clients you become friends with on some level. And I try to continually talk with those people and stay in touch with them. And that keeps you top of mind with them. And they're not weird conversations. I don't call pitching my real estate services to them every time, but people know that this is the industry I'm in. So if I call and just check in with them, they'll ask questions about the market or ask questions about, hey, just how's work going? And that leads into different questions.
Absolutely. We go out. Well, I'll go out for beers with some of my friends, and it'll just naturally, hey, we're just talking about our jobs, and then they'll say, "Oh, hey, by the way, there's somebody in my office that was just mentioning doing that. Do you handle blank? How do you handle 2-story houses?" Well, in fact, I do. Oddly enough, I mean, I'm one of the few realtors, and then you always position yourself as the expert. Like, in fact, I am one of the only agents in Tri-Cities that handles 2-story houses
And homes with plumbing.
Yes. Ooh, guaranteed indoor plumbing. BJ Johnson is your guy.
I saw that on one of your listings a few years ago. Like, it was either on the flyer or in the MLS. It said like all interior doors included.
All doors included. All windows included. I would get, those were back in the days when you're like 3 showings in a month. I am killing it. Yeah. I'm the best agent. Like, we got 2 showings last week. Oh my God. This is the busiest market you've ever heard of. Back then, you're getting attention. Right now, you can fart out a house. You can fart out a house notice, and 3 people are smelling it. Like, that's easy. But like before, when you had to work for it and stuff, like that was where the headlines were grabbing attention. I would get realtors would respond to me. This was back also when we used to do email blasts, which we don't do as an office anymore. We do personally, you can, but as an office, we don't really do it anymore. Yeah,
we got into some. You just get on a lot of people's blacklist.
Yeah, you get spam,
and we run into people were unsubscribing from our stuff, and then when you try to send out an actual email, with something, then you're blacklisted on them. So
That's exactly right. And besides, the only people I got responses back on that from were agents.
yeah,
And that's fine. If they're doing their job and they're looking at the MLS every morning, maybe they didn't even need to get that email, which is sort of my opinion at this point is...
And nothing against that if people do that.
Agreed.
It's just the ratio on that is so small for real estate marketing. So you have to put a lot out there for a little bit of return.
You know...
So real quick, I think that's where a lot of people gravitate towards when they're new. So we were talking about, okay, most of your business, friends, family, sphere, people that you meet from the pub quizzes.
Yeah, if you
most of my business, people that I met from the gym, my friends, family, people in my sphere, even though I only lived here for about a year before getting into real estate. Yeah, I mean, I did it a little bit too. You think there's some magic thing that you can go out there and get the next hottest internet tool or lead or whatever, but really your biggest easiest return on your investment in time is going to people that already know you.
Absolutely. And you don't have to convince them that you're trustworthy. You don't have to convince them that you're not going to sell them a house, that you're going to let them make the right choice for themselves, that you're going to provide them. That's my theory on sales anyways. Eric Johnson helped kind of come up with that concept. No relation. He may be related to other Johnsons, but I'm not related to him as Johnsons. It's a weird story of how my last name comes
Such
about.
A unique name. You'd think you two would be related.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, oh, yeah, BJ Johnson. Don't worry, I'm the only one in there. There's
not related to magic.
Not related to Johnson and Johnson. I'm not related to a COVID vaccine. Right. Even though I didn't receive the COVID vaccine from Johnson and Johnson. I got all the other ones.
Total betrayal of your family name, man.
Yeah, I mean. Listen, I have I have a complicated relationship with my family anyways, because my family's amazing. It's funny that you mentioned that you're only here for about a year before you started this. I'm the other side of that. Like, I grew up in Seattle, and then I moved here when I was like 11 or so. So I really split my childhood between those. Then I left after high school. I left for college, went to WSU, came back after that, and then I've been here now since 2005. So I've been back here and I've been able to cultivate those relationships so that when 10 years later, when I went into real estate, I had developed these relationships. So when anybody asks, like, what's it going to take for me to become successful in real estate? I'm like, well, what you need to do is move to the place you're going long before you're planning on doing real estate, cultivate a deep network of friends, perhaps get like a radio show or a Geeks Who Drink hosting gig. And also you have to be extremely outgoing.
Yeah. Well, a little bit. There's a lot of truth in that. I am not naturally an outgoing person. Like, I really have to work at it. I am introverted. There's some days I'd rather just be behind a laptop all day than talking to people. Not because I don't like people or anything like that. It's just my energy. Sometimes I need some sort of solitary setting to regroup. But I mean, that's not the reality of it. The job is you do have to be out there. So did you ever read Ninja Selling?
I did not. But I've heard you guys talk, but please refresh.
Yeah,
I love it.
So I mean, a lot of what we teach here it's very similar to that. One of the concepts in there is having 50 live contacts per week of two other people. And I think a lot of people read that and go, oh, crap, that means I have to have a list of 50 names in front of me that I need to start texting and dialing each and every week.
People you've never called in your life, people you don't talk to ever.
Even if they are people you know.
Yeah.
If you have a database of 50, 100, 150 names, you go, oh, crap, 50 live contacts a week. I need to sit here and just power through this list every week.
Exactly.
But that's not how I did it. I mean, I would make phone calls. I would send text messages out. I'd have my database and have people that are top of mind that I need to reach out to and somebody that had a real estate question to follow up with them. But, again, my 50 live contacts in the beginning were just people that I knew from the gym, people that I knew from church, and I would just continually follow up those people. For you, it sounded more like, okay, people that you've known since forever.
Or tangentially know.
Or people that you're meeting through Geeks Who Drink.
Yep. And
so it doesn't matter what avenue it is. You just have to have yourself out there. That doesn't necessarily need to be this rigid list that you go through every week, but have yourself out there and doing things and meeting people.
Absolutely. And I'll say in my years of doing this, for my stranger sales, and by stranger I mean like I've only met them. They weren't in my original sphere. They weren't people that I knew for years or like weren't related to me or whatnot. It's like 70% of them came from people that I just met at trivia, who we just happened to have one thing in common. We're at the Emerald Siam together at 8 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, and that's all it took, was to be there and then just to mention it, and for them to, it just earwormed to them at some point that they could do that. And then from that point, now I had my in. Now I could talk to them about it. Now I'm sending them. I'm like, hey, you know, I keep my From Your Friends. I get 10 extra From Your Friends every month, and I just bring them to quiz. And I'll be talking to people, and I'll be like, oh, hey, you just mentioned you like gardening. You know, Woods Nursery just did, I have a $10 off Woods Nursery. Here, let me just run out to my car and grab it for you. There, They've got a coupon, has my name right on there. And then they say, hey, how do I get onto this mailing list? Now I'm spending $1 a month, like, to promote to them. They get some silly message from me. And they'll send me a picture of it. They're like, haha, this was funny. Or, you know, this one, oh man, when they did Silverwood, they did like some Silverwood discount was the From Your Friends thing. I had to get like 50 of them afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, no way, that everybody was asking for them.
So for people that don't know that are listening, From Your Friends is a postcard mailer that goes out that gives usually a buy one, get one at a local restaurant or local business. Mm-hmm. So most times it's a restaurant, but like you said, Silverwood theme park, probably a buy one, get one or something like that. I've seen the ski lift tickets that go out.
Yeah, Bluewood. That's the Silverwood and Bluewood was
Bluewood,
like
I'm sorry.
That was actually, I said Silverwood. That was my, excuse me, I did another wood that's not another wood of a different color. This time a metal. Let's go with a color this time. Let's say Bluewood, the correct thing.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, Bluewood. I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that's another way that you keep in touch with people that's not super intrusive. People generally like it. They love getting discounts in the mail for local places. I used to do the same thing at open houses too.
Yeah,
just
smart.
Get an extra 10 of those, set them on the counter. People come by. Oh, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, here you go. You know, oh, have you been to this restaurant yet? Emerald of Siam. We had one of those come out.
Every 6 months or so, they do an Emerald one, and I'm like, this is one of my favorite places. Like, come out here. Like, in fact, we're at Emerald, and I'm like, dude, here you go. Hey, you should take $10 off, man. Like, let's go. Buy one get one free. Get a BOGO on your pad thai. Like, you know, what do you need? Like, and that's it. But now I'm there. Now I just saved them. I just saved them a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I just got them this. I just became somebody who wasn't. I just became a person to them. Like, where I was an automaton. Like, I was the. Even though I'm saying I'm in real estate and whatnot, I'm still the Hall of Presidents. I'm still like Abe Lincoln coming out in the Hall of Presidents at Disneyland. Like, you know, I just stand out and I read and I move in a jerking robot fashion. And then but then they just hear real estate. But now I've interacted with them. They've had an actionable interaction with me that has led them to more real estate talk.
Yeah. In all your conversations that you've had with people that you know, how often have you used any scripts or words if you know anybody that's buying or selling a house or anything like that?
Zero. I'm going to say it's absolute zero. I have no problem asking for people's business. Like, I don't remember who it was. There's some the power of just asking. Like,
yeah.
And that's just, it's hard to do. But yeah, if you just say like, hey, you know, you're in real estate and you're just like, hey, BT Dubs, like, if you got somebody, I'm always happy to help somebody out. Or, hey, I'm happy to help you with your real estate. In fact, I was speaking of this attorney that I was chatting with, and we were emailing back and forth. And she said, I'd like you to be my go-to realtor for probate. I'd like you to be my go-to realtor for estate. And I was like, yeah, I will be your go-to realtor for estates. I'll be your go-to realtor for probate. And once I've done that, then I'm going to be your go-to realtor for your house.
Yeah.
Like, I exude confidence. Be like, yeah, because I'm going to do it. Because I'm going to show you how great I am, how well I can do this. Let my actions speak for myself.
Sure. Yeah, and that's big too, exuding confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a sales pitch, a script that you throw onto somebody, or something like that. It's just natural conversations. But when Christine was on a couple weeks ago, she had a great line that you can't market a secret.
I love that. Oh,
so
I wrote that down. I wrote that down right away. I was like, that is such a hot statement. That's so good.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you're talking about right here. You can't be afraid to ask. You can't be afraid to put out there what you have. And I use the example with her too. Like if your friend owned a restaurant and invited you to that restaurant, would you be like, oh man, this son of a bitch. Yeah. Trying to sell me on his
how dare you
burgers?
Yeah, how dare you sell me this delicious wood fire pizza?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're selling something, and it's like, especially if you're confident about it, you're like, I want to share this with you. I want to share me being good at this. Like, let me impress you. Let me do something cool for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that bleeds right into the theory of sales too. Like, you're encouraging people. I began this earlier, but I don't know that I finished it. But you're encouraging people to make the best decisions for their lives.
Sure.
You're helping them find that best decision. And you can only do that by listening. You can only do that by asking questions, by paying attention to what they're going to do, body language, everything that kind of happens, just being focused on them to help them figure it out. Because you're never going to get a repeat client if you sell them a house.
Yeah.
Like ever. There's no way someone's going to be happy that you sold them something. You need to provide them the platform to sell themselves on it, to make the right choice for themselves. And that's what then you're going to have somebody come back like, they trusted me to help this out. They didn't sell me. They gave me the tools that I needed to make this choice for myself. And then I just, they're the captain. I'm just the guy who knows how to, drive the boat.
Yeah. Yep. So I think if we rewound the last 2 minutes, the word help would come up. I don't know how many times in there.
50 times right there.
And that's perfect. That's the name of the game. That's what, as a realtor, that's where your mindset needs to be. And
help, ayuda. It doesn't matter, man. Like, whatever language it is, you need to, your frame of mind needs to be, I'm helping. I'm not selling. I'm not earning. I'm helping.
Yeah. And if your mindset is there, I'll probably sound like a broken record every time I do one of these podcasts, but if that's where your mindset is as the realtor and the person that is, let's be real, we are selling things, but at the same time, we are not selling people. We are not salespeople in that we're selling vacuums or whatever, where it's, okay, let's try to get them to say yes and, make this purchase here today. It is truly about helping people, but people will hear that in your voice, in your mannerisms, in the things that you do. And if they pick that up, that you are truly there to help, then it's a lot more natural of a conversation. It doesn't need to be scripted conversations like we were talking about. It's just a natural flow, and real estate ends up coming up if you are confident in it and having the conversations related to it.
Yep. And I'm selling my ability to help you. That's what I'm selling, as I'm selling my skills at this. You're going to sell yourself, but I'm going to sell my ability to help you. And that's where the sales comes in.
Yeah, and nobody's going to be better for that person than me.
For real. And that's the thought process. You have to be like, listen, you and I have history. You and I don't have history, whatever it is. Like, because both of those are important. Like, having history with somebody is important because now you have a past you can work with them. Not having a history with somebody is great because now you have a blank slate. Because now you get to build this relationship with them.
Sure.
And that thought process is so important to sort of, everybody is important for these different reasons. And the developed relationship is just as important as the developing relationship.
Yeah.
You can't weight them. You have to just really, really listen and really follow along with them. And there's just so many of my clients I just really love. And they're friends, they're close confidants. They know everything about me. They know I have some mental stuff. Neurodivergent is the current phrasing, and they were there for me. They saw me reach out for help on Facebook. You came over actually, as in a statement of that, but you develop these such personal relationships with some of these people that you're really sharing your life with them.
Yeah.
And it's just as important as that fresh person. In fact, if it's not, but because these people are going to champion you. If you want to look at any sort of quantification of it, these people are going to champion you because you were a champion for them.
I love what you said a couple minutes ago about.
I did too.
Look look at people you don't know as a developing relationship, not just somebody that's going to stay, somebody that's an acquaintance or somebody you don't know. But if you look at somebody that you meet as a developing relationship, then you mentioned about 60% of your business now is coming from referrals. That's how you get there. If you just turn and burn, sell someone a home, and then
you lose track of them.
Thanks so much. Cash my commission check and call it a day. Call me again in 5 years if you need to buy or sell real estate again. That's probably not going to work out too well.
You're right, and I'm gonna to speak to some of that. I recently was going through, and I actually just kind of went back through some of my old catalog. And I was like, okay, well, I've had a bit of a slow year starting this year, so I was kind of going back through and like looking, where can I do better? What am I missing out? What did I forget to do? How did I not develop this relationship like I should have? Which is a highly toxic way to think of things. I would not recommend to think of it in that manner. But I was also in kind of a dark headspace.
But there's some value in self-reflecting too.
There's a ton of value in self-reflecting. It's in thinking negative of yourself, of how you're doing it. That's the toxic part of it. The way that I would like to approach that is, how can I help these people again? Not, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
And that's all. That's so helpful for your mental health, is to sort of reframe the way that you're thinking about it. But what I did is I went through my old case log, my houses, the people that I sold, like referral clients and stuff like that. And because I did a lot of corporate referral, relo. And I went through some of those, and I saw that they had sold their house like within the last 2 years or something. They had traded their equity in, and I'm like, that's where I went. That's what I didn't do. I didn't keep talking to them. I didn't give them a call. I didn't say, after 6 months after the house, all they would receive was from your friends. Because I am really good about doing the 1 week, 1 month, 6 month calls. How's the house going? How's it working? Did you guys get those windows that we were talking about? Or I know you had a question about the flooring. Did you ever do that? You wanted a referral for this thing. How did they work out for you? Like, touching base with them, just finding out, showing that I care about their job, that I care about their house, that I care about them, that I care about how they're utilizing their time. And I didn't do that. There are some of these people that I just didn't do, and they moved on. They worked with other people. And that's, to me, I took that very personally. Yeah. That's what you can't do. It's what you really can't do, is take that personally. All you can do is look at that and say, I'm going to do this better. The next person that I have this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to them about this. I'm going to check in with them. I'm going to give them extra time.
Right.
While we're going through this, I'm going to ask them for their birthdays so that I can shoot them a quick email on their birthday. Something, it takes me no time at all, but I'm going to say something that I can do once a year that thinks of them.
Yeah. And it's real easy to get away from that too. The personal touch and
especially when you get busy.
Staying in touch with people, especially when you get busy. So I think it is a little bit of finding those little things that you can do, even if it's a birthday text or whatever. I mean, there is a hierarchy. Yeah, going out to lunch with somebody or taking them out to coffee would be top of the hierarchy probably.
Beer, coffee is like the number one thing. Yeah.
But when you do get wrapped up and you get busy, I've fallen into that trap too, that I like doing that with people, and if I'm not doing that, then it's zero.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a system to where you can at least follow up with those people, have a list that you're going off of. So I talked about the list before, and you don't have to drill that list every single week. But if you have a list in a database and you go through it and you go like, oh, crap, I haven't talked to BJ in a few months. Shoot him a text real quick. Hey, everything's going.
Yeah. Hey, I brought up Facebook Messenger because this is a great thing, because you can see if people are actively like fucking around on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's a great time to be like, hey, get back to work. Something like that. A quick message of like, hey, what are you doing? I just saw you doing this. Or little things. And it's just like, get back to work. 4 words. That's all I had to do.
Yeah.
Get back to work. And now I'm done. Then they just hit me back. They're like, hey, jerk, what are you doing? Telling me to get back to work. I'm just doing this. Now we're talking again.
Yeah.
Like, it's little things. As I said, the other thing you can do definitely helps you grow a sense of humor. Like,
you need one in this business, that's for sure.
There are I'll tell you this: you will become a star if you've got a sense of humor, because there are some violently unfunny people. I'm joking, but that's also like it's cultivating your relationship. Learn what your voice sounds like. This is like from being in bands and having a radio show and all these things. That's something that I really learned is learn what your voice sounds like. Learn who can hear your voice and who likes that sound. Like, because those are going to be your people. Like, there is a group of people in this country that cannot hear my voice. That no matter what I say, no matter how I say it to them, they will never hear it.
Yeah. That's a good point too. That you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that should be 1,000% okay.
My first, as I said, Ed, my first buyer, I was not his cousin's cup of tea, and she was there with him, but I was his. He heard me, and him and I have been bros ever since.
Yeah.
Like, but his cousin, she didn't care about me one bit. She would have moved on to somebody else. That wasn't. I didn't sell her my first. Buyer. I sold Ed. And that's it. He heard me. She didn't, and that's fine. That's completely appropriate. In fact, it's important to learn that. It's important to learn how important that is.
Yeah, and I mean, some people are going to be repulsed by you, for lack of a better word. That's
speak for yourself, big guy.
I
agree.
I mean, I don't mean that negatively too. Just it's for whatever reason. You know, and sometimes it's the stupidest thing, and you can't fixate on those people. If Walmart spent their time trying to go after all the Nordstrom people, they would be screwed. But they have a specific target that they go after. And same thing with Nordstrom. If Nordstrom was trying to do bargain prices all the time, then that would kill their brand.
Absolutely. It's have you ever read the book Good to Great?
I don't believe I have.
I recommend this one. It's not a very good book.
I recommend.
It could have gone
good sales pitch. It could have not a good book, but you should read it.
It could have gone to great, but it just stayed kind of good.
You took something out of it, obviously.
I did. What I took out of that is because this book is all about like embracing your brand. One of the stories it tells you is I believe it's Southwest Airlines. They wanted to add somebody at Southwest Airlines wanted to add. A sandwich to the flight. They said from the flight from was it L.A. or San Francisco to Phoenix. They wanted, like, Southwest Airlines said, our motto is we want to have the cheapest flight from. I'm
point
getting
A to point B.
I'm getting these locations wrong, but yeah, like from point A to point B. This is what our vision is. We want to have the cheapest flight from this to this. Somebody at the place said, "Hey, customers love getting sandwiches on flights. So how is that? You know, we should add that. We'll get better reviews. We'll have more people coming back to us." And the CEO at the time said, "Is adding sandwiches going to make sure that we are the cheapest flight from San Francisco to Phoenix?" The answer is no. How many sandwiches do they serve on Southwest? Big goose egg, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, because that's part of it's not part of their brand. It's not part of their vision. You have to embrace your vision. That's what takes you from good to great.
Sure.
Is embracing your vision, learning who you are, learning what you can sell, and then selling it. You're good on your own, but you're great when you can embrace it.
Yeah. And that's true in real estate too, that your own personality is going to attract certain people. Mm-hmm. You're going to be sort of naturally gravitated to certain parts of the industry too. Not everybody is going to be a luxury agent. Not everybody is going to work with first-time home buyers. Not everybody is going to work new construction. Now, you probably want to be versed enough to where you could help somebody in any facet. But if your passion is not luxury and you try to force it, then it's going to come off that way.
That's exactly it. I could not agree more with this. Like, this is that's exactly right. Like, you have to. What is your brand and what do you sell? Because the best agents are going to can sell anything. Excuse me. Let's use the terminology that we've used, that we've embraced, this vocabulary of helping. The best agents can help anybody get into what they want. I feel like after 7 years, I can confidently put you into new construction. I can sell your estate house. I can sell you your first house. And I can sell you I'm now confident. I know how it works. I'm a 20 to 30 side agent. I have been for the last few years. You know, it was 10 to 15, and now then it's 15 to 20. Now it's that 20 to 30 sort of. And I feel comfortable here. I like the spot. I value work-life balance. Yeah. I value having my own life outside of real estate. And so that's part of success to me. Part of my definition of success is, do I have a personal life? Can I go play Elden Ring every night until like 3 a.m.?
Sure.
Yes, I can. I'm happy. I love being able to do that. I'm also an insomniac, so that's really helpful to have something to do while I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I find that to be just, what's your definition of success? That's also going to be so important for you, is to figure out what your voice is, and then figure out what your definition of success is, and then live that definition.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's great to have too. Like we were talking about earlier, when the awards come out, when, what's it called? The 1,000, the Real Trends 1,000 just came out of the top agents in the country. And it's always by numbers. It's always by volume. And not that that's a negative thing. Like, people that make that list and everything, that is fantastic.
Amazing.
But that's not for everybody. If you do the math on that, there's no possible way that everybody can get to that position.
Not everybody is Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
right?
And not everybody needs to be or even wants to be, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I don't. I personally do not want to do 70 sides a year. I could make a ton more money, but I could also have... for me, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I appreciate knowing that. It makes me... I try to live a life without want. You try to live as zen as you can, really, when it is, like, without desire, without, like... that's my goal, is to, like, live without avarice is way the wrong word. Live without, like, desire for other people. Coveting. That's the word I'm looking for. The nice biblical word for that one. Okay. Live without covetous nature, kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
And that's another definition of success that I have, is to live without desire. So it's funny to say I want to live without desire.
Yeah. We talked a little bit earlier that most people that struggle in the real estate world are not trying to get from 0 to 200 sides per year. They're struggling to get from the 0 or 2 or 3 to 215 or 220 or 225 sides per year. That's why I see value in someone like yourself coming on, and why I'm not just going to interview top producers on this, because I think most people are trying to get to where we have been, in that 20 plus side.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of, if people aren't doing 300, they're not going to go, oh crap, I'm hanging it up this year.
Yeah.
If people aren't doing 15 to 20, they go, oh man, is this really worth it?
Mm-hmm.
So for people out there that are maybe new to the business, or maybe are struggling or in a slump, what are some things you have done? Because I mean, if you are doing 20 per year, I know that's about where I was before getting into more the manager
Big
side
boss
of things.
man.
Yeah, but it's never I'm doing 2 per month.
Yeah, no.
Like it does not go like that.
I do 8 in April.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
And then September is dead anyways, like it is for everybody. December, like nothing actually occurs, but like,
yeah, or you give a freak year where September, for whatever reason, for you and your sphere is hot.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I rally at the end of the year. I don't know what it is, man. I rally at the end of the year. It's like people hit September. They're like, we're going back to school. You know what? Let's talk to BJ about selling our house. It's like I end up rallying at the end of the year a lot, kind of like that. For new agents, how to get out of, because I would consider myself having been, so last year I broke my right foot. You know what's a wonderful thing to do is break your driving foot.
Yeah.
When you're a realtor, where you live driving. So I had my mom driving me around for a month, and my wife driving me around. Like, shout out Megan and Deb. Like, you guys are amazing people. I really appreciate you.
Heck yeah.
So basically last year I ended up having 3 months where I almost didn't do any work. And you know what happens if you don't do work for 3 months in real estate? You might as well, you have to restart your job.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're not doing stuff every day, you're not working. So I had to get out of that. So I had to get back to talking to everybody. I had to go back. You know what I had to do? I like to go to sales meetings. I feel like Mary Jo Bow, shout out to Mary Jo. She's so smart. I really, really appreciate that woman, man. She took me to my first open house, actually. She showed me, it was a Ron Osmus parade house.
Oh, nice.
Was my first open house. I got one person there. But she was Mary Jo Bow. She said that, if you want to be good at one of the things, if you want to be good at real estate, come to the sales meeting, be around people, be around other realtors, hear what they have to say. Hear what the sales meeting has to do. Like, then Travis pointed out, he's like, yeah, the top agents in this office are at the sales meeting every week. Like, you know what? That's absolutely right. Like,
yeah,
they're surrounding themselves. I can't work in an office. I am like as distractible as possible. This is the longest I've been in our office in like months.
But you're still tuning in via Zoom.
I tune into Zoom every week
via Zoom to our sales meetings, I should say.
As soon as I'll tell you that has been. I really appreciate that we've moved. That I can still attend sales meetings because I sleep in, man. 9 a.m. is early, so I like to roll out of bed, have my cup of coffee, and have the sales meeting on my phone. And then I'll just wander around, have my headphones on, and I'll just listen to the sales meeting for the hour that it's going on. And I get centered. You get centered, you hear what's going on, you hear what's working for other people, you hear what's not working for people. I miss out on the tour right now, which is, now that it just started. So nobody's taking the Zoom on tour for some reason. Tour is where we show, where you go to, everybody who just listed a house, we go and check out those houses. Everybody as a group, we go and check out all the new Coldwell Banker listings.
A broker tour of homes that are newly listed to the market. We weren't doing that for a while because things would sell in 2 days anyways.
Yeah.
And even though that's still the case for a lot of properties now, I don't even want to call this a normal market, but things do, if it's not selling in a couple days, then you have a chance for other brokers to go through the home.
Absolutely.
But continuing on to what you were saying for engagement, I think would be the theme with that is to stay engaged. Mm-hmm. And that might look different for some people. So you're tuning in via Zoom.
I'm somebody who can't be in the office. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be in person. Mm-hmm. But if you were completely disengaged, then it's not going to work.
You're never going to learn anything by not paying attention to it. Like you don't get things through like reverse osmosis kind of thing. We don't just like walk over, put our hand on a computer that has the MLS and absorb the MLS from it and absorb quality sales tactics or absorb like new market issues. Like I'm never going to get a cool sitting here talking to you is never going to get me a cool Annie Fitzsimmons video that's like where she's getting mad about some real estate thing. Annie Fitzsimmons, Washington Association of Realtors,
hotline lawyer.
Our hotline lawyer. She is amazing. If you ever get to listen to anything she does, it's fantastic. She gets so angry about stuff, and I just that resonates with me. It's just like she's so passionate about law, and I love it. Oh man, it's so cool.
I love that too. That's if I want to talk to an attorney, I want somebody that geeks out on law. Mm-hmm. If I want to talk to a doctor, I want somebody that geeks out on medicine, not just there to just because.
My first job out of college, I worked at a law firm, and I learned so much at this law firm, local personal injury firm, and the attorney there. What he had said to me one day, because I was my bachelor's is in English with a pre-law endorsement. Like I was planning on going to law school, and then it just didn't materialize. I was at this job and we were talking about it, and he's like, BJ, so when I was going to college, I was working at a grocery store. I'm like, okay. And he said that the owner of the grocery store was his direct boss. Like it was a small grocery store. And he said that the owner came to him and said, do you want to be a grocer? And he's like, well, no, but this is a good job. And he goes, okay, let me stop you there. If you don't want to be a grocer, then don't be a grocer. But if you're going to be one, you need to be one. You need to. And he said he quit that day and he started sleeping with his law books. Like he would fall asleep reading law books every night because that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be an attorney. He wanted to love the law and he wanted to work within it. So that's what as you said, he geeked out about law, and now he's a huge personal injury attorney. Makes. I'll tell you, I worked there, made a lot of money.
Right.
Not me. He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
I made a lot of money too because I was really good at my job, because I'm great at negotiating, which is what I learned at a personal injury law firm, is to negotiate. And that's huge. And you'd be surprised how much like actual value-driven negotiation occurs. It's
Right.
not just posturing and stuff but actual value-driven negotiating. It's so cool.
Yeah. So being engaged with the career that you have, being passionate about it. So you talked about the attorney doing that. I mentioned the doctor thing, a restaurant thing earlier. I pick up on that. So there, with Annie, with her passion for the video she does and everything, it's fantastic. And I know if I need to learn something, I want to go to her videos or ask her directly about questions. There's nobody else I'd want to turn to. Same thing. I think as a realtor, you have to have that same passion. You have to have that same, like, geek out on real estate. Know your shit.
Yeah, know your shit. Like, learn it, love it. Like, you don't even have to love houses. You just have to love dealing with people, dealing with houses, like helping people find the fits that they have for their. I don't care about houses that much. Like, I don't watch the HGTV shows. Like, I don't watch Selling Sunset. I don't do those shows. I'll live and breathe real estate, but not through that type of media. Through like understanding and through helping is how I do it. I can't watch that. I can't be only that, but I can be obsessed with it. But you don't have to watch the shows. You don't have to see these dramatized versions. You just have to embrace the job, embrace the work that it is, and that's the part that you have to love. You have to love helping people.
100%. Cool. Well, coming up on a little over an hour. I think that's going to be about a wrap. Have anything else you want to add?
Baba booey, baba booey. No, just start shouting weird things over and over again. No, what I'd like to add is that I found this. I was excited to do this again with you, Glenn. Like, you and I have a lot of rapport, and I really appreciate doing this again with you. I think that the people out there that are listening, if you're a new agent, learn to embrace who you are in this gig. If you're a longtime agent, keep doing what you're doing. Like, embrace what works and learn to be resilient and learn to cut bait when it's not working.
Yeah.
When, like, if you're throwing money at Zillow to get, or in my personal experience, these last couple of years with Relo, there was some changing of the guard at Relo for our corporate relocation, and I ended up not getting any clients from it, really. Like, I got clients that were sphere of influence clients that ended up going through Relo programs with me because they could get a better deal, but they weren't giving me anything, and I was spending $500 a year. Well, break that down. That's, not that much money, but I was still spending money. I had to cut bait on that, like, because it's just not working. So learn what your ROI is, learn what you're getting a return on your investment, and take a mathematical approach to it.
Yeah.
That's something I learned it later than I wanted to. I wish I had learned that earlier.
Yeah. Spend times on the things that are producing for you.
Yeah. Like, you can only flog a dead horse for so long before you realize that it's a dead horse and it's not going to come to life and, take you for a ride. Like, you have to move on and try something else. So be ready. Be ready to fail. Fail often to succeed sooner is a cool adage that I learned back in college, and I try to embrace that.
I love that.
I think it's a really good line. So, the failure of this podcast. Let's do it often.
There we
so
go.
we can succeed. No, this was amazing. Thank you, Glenn. I really appreciated this.
I appreciate you being on, and we are going to be doing more coming your way soon.
Take it easy. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.